Hi, my name is Steve Ross, and I'm the Director of Student Services for the San Francisco Bay Area region for Northeastern University. And when I think about global citizenship, I think about people working together to ensure that everyone has what they need in order to be successful. So, be it food, housing, shelter, security, and people working together to make that happen. It gets tough when money gets involved, but I think if we can think beyond that and think more towards everybody being able to live their best life and be the best that they're able to be, I think that's when we start to really get into a good quality global citizenship.
We're all citizens of this globe, this world, this universal life that brings us all together. And so to be aware of that and to be able to appreciate that is what I think citizenship entails. Taking responsibility for this opportunity to wake up to our oneness.
So when I was a little boy at my grandfather's and grandmother's house, they would often have around their dinner table people of all cultures, all religions, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, and I learned that to be human was to be one among many. What I see about this global citizenship experience is that people are living that out as one among many. And that being one among many is a beautiful thing because we bring the uniqueness of our own life experience, our own culture, our own beliefs, together with others, and together we discover something that we couldn't possibly know on our own. So I think being a global citizen means to live as one among many and to celebrate that diversity as a resource for bringing peace, justice, and healing to our world.
This global citizenship is actually goes with the Quran that we all one human body and need to come together and establish peace and justice for all.
The question is, what is global citizenship, or what do I think is an important feature of global citizenship? And I think the first thing I would say is I don't know. I'm here at the San Francisco Zen Center, and our practice is primarily to understand that the truth of things is far beyond our conception, and that while we have ideas about the world and we have ideas about what we should and shouldn't do and have ideas about how things work and how to fix problems, a lot of times we're wrong because the truth of the situation is always so far beyond what we're understanding. According to the Buddhist tradition, everything is interconnected, and so you have to understand that we think that we're separate from others, and so the challenge that we have before us is the species, I guess, as I see it, is to understand the relationship of the individual and the group, and to find some way to harmonize and balance. How can we both support the reality of our individual existences and our individual lives, and also recognize that we are also part of something greater, and that our life reflects and connects to that greater thing that we are a part of. And to hold those two perspectives and truths simultaneously, to me, it seems is the way to a positive outcome for our species.
There's something about, in my tradition, you're called to love your neighbor as yourself, and we're called to be part of something larger than ourselves, and we're called to be about the work of reconciliation in the world. So it's being part of a global context and being a global citizen is very much something that my tradition supports, and I appreciate meeting folks across various identities that we share, and even while we share some things and have other things that aren't the same, I really value that because I think it enriches my humanity to experience that, and I appreciate being part of a larger thing.
I was thinking about our actions actually mattering. That I like to teach that within my tradition, that part of why, especially within a culture where religion is not mandatory, and we're here in San Francisco, in one of the most secular cities in the world. So why does a spiritual path or a particular religion matter in the first place? And I like to think that, at least in part, it's about the idea that our actions, what we believe, what we do, how we behave in our lives actually matters, and that there are consequences for what we do, what we believe, what we say, who we befriend and who we don't befriend, and all of that. So in that way, we're interconnected here, we're interconnected everywhere, because what I do actually does impact my global community and vice versa. So how am I going to take that responsibility on myself, and what can I teach that will put us in a better position to understand what that means, that I'm not this little island on my own. And I think in my tradition of Judaism, that's very clear, in that we tend to think of ourselves as all being connected with each other, but we think of ourselves as connected to all human beings, that it is in Hebrew echad, that it's oneness, and that propels us.
What I understand by being an ideal global citizen is this: a person who can look upon his fellow human beings as members of his own spiritual family, a person who can look upon the whole humanity as one spiritual family, and practice the ideal of universal spiritual humanism, looking upon all religions as so many paths leading to the same goal, respecting and honoring all teachers and all prophets and all traditions, and treating them with the same respect and honor. This is the ideal of global citizenship, according to me.
I work here at Martin DePore's House of Hospitality in San Francisco. We believe that food is a right. We believe that everyone is entitled to have food. I suppose I would say that I'm a global citizen. So what does that mean, to be a global citizen? What it means to be a global citizen to me is we are all connected. So I have two gentlemen here who are interviewing me who are from India. There's people who I met today from Croatia, from Iran. There's so many problems in the world where people are divided and split off and fighting each other. And I think it's important that we sit there and take a look and see what connects us, the things that connect us rather than the things that pull us apart. And so one of the things that connects us is, everyone has a right to food, decent food. Everyone has a right to water. Everyone has a right to a house over themselves. And so I believe that we should all be working towards providing these things for people, and so we're just trying to do our little part right here in San Francisco of offering services to anyone, because we are all one brother and sister.
To be a global citizen really starts at home. We have incredible rich diversity here in San Francisco, and it is said that there can't be peace among nations until there's peace among religions. We have a 30-year history of cultivating relationships here in San Francisco, so that when difficult issues have to be addressed, those at the table know each other, and there is a foundation for rich and civil discourse that can change the dial on so many important issues. We are sort of that portal through which the communities of faith can not only speak to one another, but can speak to the NGO world and to our civic leaders, and vice versa. And so the role that we play has been very important on a number of key issues. And it has been said that if there wasn't a San Francisco Interfaith Council, one would have to be formed, because it's a natural inclination for us to come together.
Being a global citizen, especially from the faith perspective, is a connection from myself to you, to the other, to the neighbor who lives next door, to the neighbor who lives in Mexico and Canada, to everybody around the world. And from the environmental space, that is two major ways. One of them is talking about the climate. That what I do here, the way that I choose to go, whether it's in a car or a bike, not just affects the air pollution of the person next to me, of the neighbor, but also in terms of the climate, how what I do matters to the rest of the world. And so it is from this faith groundedness of beliefs of caring for our neighbors and caring for the earth, and it's in this meta ideological way to also in the physical, how what I do matters to the other.
And the group I had today from Boston, they were awesome. From what they told me, they're a multicultural, multi-faith group that come together, and I think that's amazing because one of our core values here at Glide is all-inclusiveness, which means everybody's included. So for them of different faiths to come together, to come here to help serve the needy is what it should be all about, you know what I mean? It's a bunch of different people from different walks of life coming together for a good cause, so you can't go wrong doing that. So more of the world should get on the same level and help each other and realize people are people. It don't matter who you worship, who you love, what color you're all, we're all the same, so come together and help others, so you can't go wrong.
To me, global citizenship is about people coming together and learning from one another and realizing that we are all one, and that we bring what is inside us and witness to it out in the world with one another.
I think that being a global citizen matters not just for those communities that are directly impacted by globalism, but for everybody, because I think that the more that we can learn from each other and connect with each other and hear each other's truths, the more that we all are better served, we become better people and better equipped to handle our life.
I am a link in the Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in the Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all realize and attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.